Let's begin Act 4, Scene 2. We start with Othello and Emilia coming onto stage, and they're going to be talking about Desdemona's purity, talking about any suspicions that Emilia might have about how Desdemona has been interacting with Cassio. Let's begin.
You have seen nothing then?
Nor ever heard, nor ever did suspect.
Yes, you have seen Cassio and she together.
But then I saw no harm, and then I heard each syllable that breath made up between them.
What? Did they never whisper?
Never, my lord.
Nor send you out of the way?
Never.
To fetch her fan, her gloves, her mask, nor nothing?
Never, my lord.
That's strange.
I durst, my lord, to wager she is honest. Lay down my soul at stake. If you think other, remove your thought. It doth abuse your bosom. If any wretch have put this in your head, let heaven requite it with the serpent's curse. For if she be not honest, chaste, and true, there's no man happy. The purest of their wives is foul as slander.
Bid her come hither. Go!
So she goes off to get Desdemona. Now notice, she's simply protesting. She's saying, no, she's always pure. She doesn't do anything wrong. I've seen them together. They never whisper. They never send me out of the room. Nothing like that. And then she says this, which is kind of cool. She says, if any wretch has put this idea in your head, let heaven requite it with the serpent's curse. If any horrible person has given you this idea, may he be cursed by the serpent. May the devil take his soul. Okay, Emilia. Good point. You just don't know who you're talking about. Othello says, go get her. And then he says, in soliloquy, before he talks to Desdemona, he says, Emilia, says enough, but she's just a simple woman. She's just a nobody. She's not really sophisticated. This is a subtle whore. He's talking here about Desdemona. She's too good to be caught by someone as dumb as Emilia. She can lock away her sins, her villainous secrets, and even kneel and pray. I've seen her do it.
She says enough. Yet she's a simple bawd that cannot say as much. This is a subtle whore, a closet lock and key of villainous secrets. And yet she'll kneel and pray. I've seen her do it.
My lord, what is your will?
Pray, Chuck. Come hither.
What is your pleasure?
Let me see your eyes. Look in my face.
What horrible fancy is this?
Some of your function mysteries. Leave procreants alone and shut the door. Cough or cry hem if anybody come. Your mystery. Nay, dispatch.
Now, this only makes sense now if we look at it. What he's actually saying to Emilia, he's saying, go out in the hall and keep track in case anyone comes by. Just go out and be watch. But the way he says it, he says, some of your function. Go do your job, mistress. The job of the madam in a whorehouse is to make sure that the people are left alone while they're doing their business, and to say something if anyone important comes by. And that's their mystery. That's it. Mystery here simply means profession. So when he says this to Emilia, he's saying, go and be a good whorehouse madam and go and keep track in case anyone comes in while we're conducting business in here.
Upon my knees, what doth your speech import? I understand a fury in your words, but not the words.
Why? What art thou?
Your wife, my lord. Your true and loyal wife.
Come, swear it. Damn thyself, lest being like one of heaven, the devils themselves should fear to seize thee, therefore be double damned. Swear thou art honest.
Heaven doth truly know it.
Heaven truly knows thou art false as hell.
To whom, my lord? With whom? How am I false?
Ah, Desdemona. Away.
Alas, the heavy day. Why do you weep?
Now Othello starts by saying, what are you? And she says, I'm your wife, your honest wife. And he says, oh, really? You should swear that you're my wife, because if you swear that you're my wife, then not only are you lying, but you're swearing that you're lying. You just doubled your sin, and then you'll be double damned, right? And she says, "Oh, heaven knows that I'm your honest wife." And he says, "Oh, get away from here." And he's crying when he says this. And she goes on to sort of, I don't know, plead with him.
Am I the motive of these tears, my lord? If haply you, my father, do suspect an instrument of this your calling back, lay not your blame on me. If you have lost him, why, I have lost him too.
Now, this is an interesting and sort of sophisticated thought on the part of Desdemona. She says, "Why are you crying? Do you think that my father is the person who called you back and told you to leave Cassio in your place? Do you think, is that what's making you all upset? Because, don't blame me for that. If you've lost his goodwill, if he's done this to you, then I've lost his goodwill too. Screw him. If he's going to treat you like that, he's treating me like that too. So don't blame me if that's what's getting you upset." No, that's not what's getting him upset, but it's pretty sophisticated for her to think that that's what it was.
It pleased heaven to try me with affliction, had they rained all kinds of sores and shames on my bare head, steeped me in poverty to the very lips, given to captivity me and my utmost hopes. I should have found in some place of my soul a drop of patience. But alas, to make me a fixed figure for the time of scorn to point his slow unmoving finger at. Yet could I bear that too well, very well. But there, where I have garnered up my heart, where either I must live or bear no life, the fountain from the which my current runs or else dries up, to be discarded thence, or keep it as a cistern for foul toads to not engender in. Turn thy complexion there, patience, thou young and rose-lipped cherubim. Aye, there look grim as hell.
So he's sort of pleading or bemoaning his situation. He says, if God had only wanted to give me some affliction, given me sores or shame on my head, if he'd have done all these horrible things, that would have been one thing. I could have had some patience. But to make me the fixed figure of the time of scorn, to make me so humiliated and embarrassed, to go to the place where I've garnered up my heart, that would be his wife, okay, to go there and to be discarded from there, okay, that's what's actually happening to me, and I just can't take it. Turn your complexion there, patience. Go and look, cherubim, at how hellish this is to me. So he's not really talking to Desdemona. He's just talking about how horrible his situation is. And Desdemona says, I hope you're not telling me that I'm doing something wrong.
I hope my noble lord esteems me honest.
Oh, aye, as summer flies are in the shambles that quicken even with blowing. Oh, thou weed, who art so lovely fair and smells so sweet that the sense aches at thee. Wouldst thou hadst ne'er been born.
Now, she says, I hope you think I'm honest. Yeah, you're honest. Remember earlier he said, this is an honest hand that she had. The hand that said that she was, it was a hot and moist hand, said she was a sinner. He says, this is an honest hand. This is a frank hand. And he says, yeah, you are honest. You're just as honest as the flies that eat the dead meat and lay their maggots on there because they're just doing what's natural. Yep. That's how honest you are. You just are doing what comes natural. And she comes back with, what have I done?
Alas, what ignorant sin have I committed?
Was this fair paper, this most goodly book, made to write whore upon? What committed? Committed. Oh, thou public commoner, I should make very forges of my cheeks that would to cinders burn up modesty did I but speak thy deeds. What committed? Heaven stops the nose at it, and the moon winks. The body wind that kisses all it meets is hushed within the hollow mind of earth and will not hear it. What committed? Impudent strumpet!
By heaven, you do me wrong.
Are not you a strumpet?
No, as I am a Christian, if to preserve this vessel for my lord from any other foul, unlawful touch be not to be a strumpet, I am none.
What? Not a whore?
No, as I shall be saved.
Is possible?
Oh, heaven, forgive us.
I cry you mercy then. I took you for that cunning.
Now, at line 100, it sounds like he's saying, oh, I guess I was wrong. But he's not. He's being sarcastic, so don't get too excited here yet. He says, you're a good and holy book, and you've got whore written on you. You're a public commoner, like a prostitute. And she said, what did I commit? And he said, committed. You've committed this horrible. So what did you commit? Holy cow, don't you understand what you've done? And she says, I'm not doing anything wrong. He says, what, you're not a prostitute? She goes, no, I'm not a prostitute. And then that's when he says, you're not a whore? No, it's not. And then he says sarcastically, oh, well then I'm sorry. I didn't mean to call you a whore, but I thought.
Oh, Venice that married with Othello. You, mistress, that have the office opposite to St. Peter and keep the gate of hell. You. We have done our course. There's money for your pence.
Okay.
I pray you, turn the key and keep our counsel.
Alas, what does this gentleman conceive? How do you, madam? How do you, my good lady?
Half asleep?
I'm sorry. I thought you were that whore of Venice that married Othello. And so, it's a sarcastic thing. And then he calls out to the woman whose job it is to guard the gates of hell. He's calling out to Amelia at the door. Hey, mistress, whose job it is to guard the gates of hell, come back in here. And she comes in, and he says, oh, well, we've done our business, right? Like in the whorehouse. And so he throws some money on the ground. He says, there you go. I'm done with this one. Turn your key and keep counsel. Keep our counsel. Turn the key, lock the door, and keep our secret. And Amelia says, what the heck is going on? And Desdemona is like stunned and shocked. So when she says she's half asleep, she's like, I am just exhausted. I don't know what to do.
Good madam, what's the matter with my lord?
With who?
Why, with my lord, madam.
Who is thy lord?
He that is yours, sweet lady.
I have none. Do not talk to me, Amelia. I cannot weep, nor answers have I none but what should go by water. Prithee, tonight, lay on my bed my wedding sheets, remember, and call thy husband hither.
Here's a change indeed.
No, she has changed somehow. She's not being the kind and polite and friendly young girl she always is. And Amelia is kind of freaked out. Desdemona said, make up the bed real nice. Call your husband. I got to talk to him. Now, Desdemona is here speaking in soliloquy for a short moment until Iago and Amelia come in. Let's hear what she has to say.
'Tis meet I should be used so. Very meet. How have I been behaved that he might stick the smallest opinion on my least misuse?
So this first thing, it's meet that I should be used so, very meet. She's kind of being sarcastic here because she's saying, yeah, I should be used. He should treat me that way. But we know it's sarcasm because of what she says next. And this, again, this is soliloquy. So we know this is the honest truth. She honestly has no idea of how her chatting about Cassio all the time is affecting her husband. She has zero idea. She's like a young girl who's fallen in love for the first time. She's just like Juliet. These two people don't really know the dangerous thing they're dealing with. She says, how have I behaved that he might stick the smallest opinion on my least misuse? What have I done that he would have the slightest notion that I've done anything wrong? Not the way you talk about Cassio all the time. Not the way you don't, sort of read the room and understand that your husband is suspicious of you? None of that? No, she's too ignorant. Iago walks in. He says, yeah, what do you want? What's up?
It is your pleasure, madam. How is't with you?
I cannot tell. Those that do teach young babes do it with gentle means and easy tasks. You might have chid me so, for in good faith I am a child to chiding.
What is the matter, lady?
Alas, Iago, my lord hath so behawed her, thrown such despite and heavy terms upon her, as true hearts cannot bear.
Am I that name, Iago?
What name, fair lady?
Such as she said my lord did say I was.
He called her whore. A beggar in his drink could not have laid such terms upon his callet.
Why did he so?
I do not know. I am sure I am none such.
Do not weep, do not weep. Alas the day.
That she forsook so many noble matches, her father and her country and her friends, to be called whore? Would it not make one weep?
It is my wretched fortune.
Now, Desdemona is talking to Iago. So is Amelia, but Desdemona says, he's treating me badly. He could have treated me with like kid gloves, because I'm a kid when it comes to being scolded like this. It's never happened before. Amelia says, he called her a whore. Desdemona says, am I that name? What name? You heard the name. Amelia says a drunken beggar wouldn't have used the same words on his, one night stand. And so Desdemona is really lost. Why is this? Why is he calling me this? And Amelia comes up with this, which is something that we've kind of heard before recently from Iago. Has she given up all of the people that wanted to marry her? And has she given up her father? And has she given up her country and her friends, given up all those people that were of her class, all of her positive benefits, all of her prestige, all of her privilege? Has she given up all of that to marry this guy and now be called a whore? You can understand why she's crying. And Desdemona says, yeah, it's my wretched fortune. Iago says, no, how did that happen? What's going on?
How comes this trick upon him?
Nay, heaven doth know.
I will be hanged if some eternal villain, some busy and insinuating rogue, some cogging, cozening slave to get some office, have not devised this slander. I'll be hanged else.
There is no such man. It is impossible.
If any such there be, heaven pardon him.
Now, you see what Amelia says here? She says, I'll be hanged if this isn't what's going on. I'll be damned if this isn't the way it is. And she says, there's some eternal villain or some busy rogue who's, coming up with some plan to get some office, to get something from him, that's devised a slander. I bet you anything that's what it is. And Iago says, I don't think I don't think anyone would be doing that. And Desdemona says, if anyone is doing that, I hope God has mercy on their soul. Which is all kind of funny at this point. The audience usually gets a chuckle out of this. But Amelia isn't done yet. She slams the guy more, who's causing all of these problems.
A halter pardon him, and hell gnaw his bones. Why should he call her whore? Who keeps her company? What place? What time? What form? What likelihood? The Moor's abused by some most villainous knave, some base, notorious knave, some scurvy fellow. Oh, heaven, that such companions thou'dst unfold, and put in every honest hand a whip to lash the rascals naked through the world, even from the east to the west.
Speak within doors.
Oh, fie upon them! Some such squire he was that turned your wit the seamy side without and made you to suspect me with the Moor.
You are a fool. Go to.
Okay, here is something interesting. In the midst of this, what's sort of a comical scolding of whoever is doing this, she doesn't realize she's talking to the guy who's doing this. But she says this is a horrible person, and they need to be stripped naked and whipped, run through the world from east to west. And Iago, when he says speak within door, this is kind of cool because what he's literally saying is use your indoor voice. Then we get this from Amelia. This is really kind of important. It was a guy like that, one of that kind of people, who turned your wit the seamy side without, who turned you inside out and made you suspect me with the more. Okay, you see what she's saying here? The person who is making Othello think that his wife is fooling around, I bet it's that same guy who made you think that I was fooling around with Othello. We know that Iago says, I'm not sure my wife is fooling around with Othello, but I'm going to act like as if he did. She says no. Now, I would trust her more than I would trust Iago. Sure, she could be lying, but at this point, it seems like she wouldn't be lying. Iago says, oh, you're a fool. Get out of here. And Desdemona says, oh, my life is so horrible now.
Alas, Iago, what shall I do to win my lord again? Good friend, go to him. For by this light of heaven I know not how I lost him. Here I kneel. If e'er my will did trespass against his love, either in discourse of thought or actual deed, or that mine eyes, mine ears, or any sense delighted them in any other form, or that I do not yet, and ever did, and ever will, though he do shake me off to beggarly divorcement, love him dearly, comfort forswear me. Unkindness may do much, and his unkindness may defeat my life, but never taint my love. I cannot say whore. It does abhor me now I speak the word. To do the act that might the addition earn, not the world's mass of vanity could make me.
She's saying, basically, if ever I did anything horrible, if ever I trespassed against his love, if ever I did anything that made him, that justified his attitude towards me, that I'm really sinful like that, may comfort forswear me, which doesn't sound like much, but she says, may I never be comfortable again in my life. But then she says something that's even sort of more poetic and touching. She says, unkindness may do much. You know, when a person is unkind, it has a lot of effects. And his unkindness may defeat my life. It may, like, kill me, metaphorically, perhaps. But it will never taint my love. I'll still love him no matter what, even if it destroys me. So, you know, she has been sincere the whole time, and she still is. She's still seeing the best in him, giving him the benefit of the doubt. She says, I'm not a whore. I can't even say the word. And Iago says, what's going on here? It has to be something, it's an emotional thing. It has to do with the state that he's working with, you know, the army. It has to do with his job. Okay. Which is what she suggested earlier. Okay. It's probably something like that. And Desdemona says, oh, if it's just that. And he says, I'm sure it is. I'm sure it has to be that. Now, that's comforting. It's a complete lie, but that's comforting. Let's hear them talk about it.
I pray you be content. 'Tis but his humour. The business of the state does him offence, and he does chide with you.
If 'twere no other.
'Tis but so, I warrant. Now, hark how these instruments summon you to supper. The messengers of Venice stay the meat. Go in, and weep not. All things shall be well.
How now, Roderigo?
I do not find that thou dealst justly with me.
What? In the contrary.
Every day thou daffst me with some device, Iago, and rather, as it seems to me now, keepst from me all conveniency than suppliest me with the least advantage of hope. I will indeed no longer endure it, nor am I yet persuaded to put up in peace what already I have foolishly suffered.
Will you hear me, Roderigo?
Faith, I have heard too much, for your words and performances are no kin together.
Well, you charge me most unjustly.
With naught but truth, I have wasted myself out of my means. the jewels you have had from me to deliver to Desdemona would half have corrupted a votarist. You have told me she had to receive them and return me expectations and comforts of sudden respect and acquaintance, but I find none.
Well, go to. Very well.
Very well. Go to? I cannot go to, man. Not is not very well. By this hand I say 'tis very scurvy, and begin to find myself fopped in it.
Very well.
I tell you, 'tis not very well. I will make myself known to Desdemona. If she will return me my jewels, I will give over my suit and repent my unlawful solicitation. If not, assure yourself, I will seek satisfaction of you.
You have said now.
Now, this is kind of complex. It goes way back to the beginning of the play, so we want to pay close attention. When Rodrigo comes in, he's complaining. He says, you're treating me badly. Nothing that you say seems to be working, okay? I've heard a lot of what you said, and it never seems to amount to anything. And Iago says, oh, you're treating me poorly. It's like, it's not my fault. And here comes the important thing. Rodrigo says, I'm only telling you the truth. I've wasted myself out of my means. I've gathered up all of my money, so I don't have any money anymore. And what did I do with it? I gave these jewels to you to deliver to Desdemona. And the amount of jewels that I gave would have half corrupted a votarist. It would have seduced a nun. Okay? And you have told me she received them, and she was talking about expectations, but I find none. Iago has been taking Rodrigo's money, his jewels, his gifts, and not giving them to Desdemona. He took Rodrigo's money. Remember, he said, put money in your purse, and then you'll be able to bribe her, basically, to get her to you. Apparently, Iago was given these jewels and money to seduce Desdemona, and he says, oh, she's really happy about all the stuff you're giving her. But Rodrigo says, I haven't seen a dang thing for it. And Iago says, well, yeah, that's the way it is. Very well is where they say. No, it's not very well. It's not very well. I think it's scurvy. Here's where we see a motivation for an important thing that's coming up in the play. I will make myself known to Desdemona. Rodrigo is talking. He says, I'm going to go and talk to Desdemona myself. And I'm going to ask her if she will return the jewels that you gave her from me. If she will just give me back all of my jewels, I will give over my suit and repent my unlawful solicitation. If she just gives me back all my money, I will leave her alone and walk away and quit being such a stalker. And if not, if she doesn't give it to me, I'm coming after you. This is very important because we know, just from what we know about Iago, that Iago hasn't given her anything. And Rodrigo just said, I'm going to go and talk to her and get back all of my jewels. He's going to say, Iago gave you all my money, didn't he? Now, something to keep in mind. Rodrigo is a bit of a putz. He's a bit of an idiot, but he's still a nobleman. And Desdemona is a noble woman. They are still high class. So if a high class person tells you that a low class person did something, you're likely to believe the high class person. So if this actually happens, Iago is going to be, let's see, how can we say this politely? He's going to be completely screwed, is what he's going to be. It's going to completely destroy him. And Iago is kind of like, oh, yeah, you said it now. You've just told me what I have to do. Well, he can't let this happen. So let's keep that in mind as the play goes on. He cannot let this happen.
Aye, and said nothing but what I protest intendment of doing.
Why, now I see there's metal in thee. And even from this instant do build on thee a better opinion than ever before. Give me thy hand, Rodrigo.
Oh.
Thou hast taken against me a most just exception. But yet I protest I have dealt most directly in thy affair.
It hath not appeared.
Now, remember, Iago is a complete liar, a complete sinner, a complete deceiver. So we know what he has just thought about here. We know all of the truth here. But what does he do? He says, oh, by golly, Rodrigo, you've got some steel in your spine. You just told me that I should watch my P's and Q's. I have a better opinion of you now than ever before. You've got some good, you've taken exception to me, and you've got some good argument. Now, it's not true. I've always dealt directly with you. It doesn't look like it. Yeah, I know that, but I have. But the fact that you've got the kahunas to stand up to me, that's great. This is all his act. All Iago's act.
Grant indeed it hath not appeared, and your suspicion is not without wit and judgment. But, Rodrigo, if thou hast that in thee indeed which I have greater reason to believe now than ever, I mean purpose, courage, and valour, this night show it. If thou the next night following enjoy not Desdemona, take me from this world with treachery and devise engines for my life.
Well, what is it? Is it within reason and compass?
Sir, there is a special commission come from Venice to depute Cassio in Othello's place.
Is that true? Why? Then Othello and Desdemona return again to Venice.
Oh, no. He goes into Mauritania and takes away with him the fair Desdemona, unless his abode be lingered here by some accident. Wherein none can be so determinate as the removing of Cassio.
How do you mean, removing of him?
Why? By making him incapable of Othello's place. Knocking out his brains.
Oh. And that you would have me to do?
Aye, if you dare do yourself a profit and a right.
A commission has come from Venice to depute Cassio in Othello's place, to make him the deputy in place of Othello. And then Othello has to go back to Venice. And Rodrigo says, so he's going home. No, he's not going to. He's going to go into Mauritania because he doesn't want to go back to Venice. However, if something makes him stay here, he'll stay here. Well, what could possibly make him stay here? Well, there's nothing that could do it so much better than the removing of Cassio. What do you mean removing? Like knocking out his brains, dude. Oh, and you want me to do that? You want me to kill Cassio so that Cassio can't take his place and he can't leave? Because if he leaves, he's going to take his wife with. And I can't lose, Desdemona. So, yeah, I have to kill Cassio. That makes sense. Good one, Rodrigo.
He sups tonight with a harlotry, and thither will I go to him. He knows not yet of his honourable fortune. If you will watch his going thence, which I will fashion to fall out between 12 and 1, you may take him at your pleasure. I will be near to second your attempt, and he shall fall between us. Come, stand not amazed at it, but go along with me. I will show you such a necessity in his death that you shall think yourself bound to put it on him. It is now high supper time and the night grows to waste. About it.
I will hear further reason for this.
And you shall be satisfied.
So he says, yeah, you need to kill him. So what's going to happen? Cassio is eating with his harlotry. He's eating with his, prostitute. And I'm going to go to meet him there. Remember, he told Cassio he's going to come to dinner with him. And he says, I'm going to go meet him there. I'll just make sure. And he doesn't know of his honorable fortune. He does not yet know that he's going to be taking Othello's place here. So he's not going to be thinking anything suspicious. I'll make sure he leaves between, say, 12 and 1, and you just sort of stalk outside, and between 12 and 1, he'll come out, and you can take him at your pleasure. Kill him whenever you want, wherever's convenient. All right, let's go. Okay, it's supper time. He says, well, I want to hear more. Yeah, I'll tell you more. Come on, let's go. And that's the end of the scene.